So let's raise our talking point. Our second question tonight is Facebook guilty of manipulating users' emotions? And joining me tonight, people who spend a lot of their time, let me tell you, on Facebook and all other social networking sites. Kushan Mitra, Managing Editor, New Projects and Digital from The Pioneer. Nikhil Pahwa, journalist, blogger, the founder of Media Nama. Apar Gupta, lawyer. He has expertise over technology, media and internet industry. Alok Kejriwal, another digital entrepreneur, CEO, games to win.com. And Meenakshi Menon, founder and chairperson of Special Access Private Limited. Welcome to all of you on the show. Nikhil, let me first begin with you. Social media, given the fact that it is such an integral part of our life, Facebook, Google, Twitter, all these basic allegations which are being leveled against Facebook, that they are trying to influence the way we emote. Firstly, do you buy that? Is it really possible for a mathematical model to determine what I should be thinking and what I should be feeling?
Of course it is, and it's also possible to reinforce opinions or views that you already have. Facebook already has significant personalization. So if you compare it with Twitter, which shows you all the updates from all the users who you're following, in case of Facebook, the algorithm selects what you view. So it can actually, and in this case, it's actually manipulated what you view directly.
But Kushan, I want to be clear. Yeah. Is what Nikhil suggesting this, that suppose the three of us are together on Facebook, irrespective of what comment is put up by Nikhil on his timeline, that comment will not be accessible to me unless Facebook decides that that comment should be accessible to me?
No. All comments are accessible. I think what he means to say is that if you, for example, when you're setting up your Facebook, say you're an Amitabh Bachchan fan and a cricket fan, you'll get a lot of updates on Amitabh Bachchan and cricket. Now, just because my friend puts up a post on, say, the FIFA World Cup, and I've said I like cricket, I may not see it. But it could be, unless I'm a very close friend. Facebook also, I think the algorithm also determines how close I am to a certain person.
So the algorithm will decide that, and that will be on the basis of what?
So it already checks who do you react to more, who do you support more. Today, if you think about it, if you see all the friends you have on Facebook, do you actually see every single update from every single person? You don't. So there's some algorithm there that's selecting what you view. Now it's also possible to tweak that algorithm to push a particular point of view. Let's say, in case of the elections, only pro-Modi posts would come if you actually support Modi, so they would reinforce that opinion. I'm not saying they're doing that, but this case actually shows they have the potential to change
do that.
Your
there is a potential of doing that.
And it isn't just Facebook. Google today personalizes search results depending on whether you're logged in or not. So even your access to information is controlled by what they choose to show to you.
So it's almost as if that all of us are walking, talking mathematical algorithms. Apar Gupta, is there a basic point related to ethics here? Would I be correct to suggest that maybe this experiment, which was conducted across 689,000 people apart, was that experiment violation of established laws, violation of ethics?
Okay, the basic interface between a user and a platform is on the basis of a terms of service agreement. This is something which all users sign off when they sign up with a platform such as Google or with Facebook. Now, these are really long lumbering documents drafted by lawyers in order to protect the platform any kind of potential liability, and it allows most kinds of actions which are taken by platforms. Specifically in the case of Facebook, its data usage policy permits them to conduct such kind of activities under the umbrella of a term called research for improving customer experience. However, ethical issues do remain, since commentators have pointed out that specific informed consent was not taken from users prior to the study being conducted by itself. It may have caused anxiety to users. However, as we see, the basis is the contract. And I do not think so that users may have much ground to legally agitate a breach of the terms of service itself.
So you don't think that this is there a legal case here? Could Facebook be accused perhaps of violating the legal norms here in this case? You don't believe that that's the case?
See, just to substantiate on in addition to this, if you look at any data protection regulation which is designed around the world, the basis which it states is that there has to be a contract between the platform and the user, and they have to inform the user how they will use the data, what is the data they are collecting, etc. And it should be within the contemplation of the user as to what the platform will do, clearly. However, you know, the way you read the law here, it will be fairly wide, because the contract itself, which is the terms of service which is drafted, is wide.
Right.
I'm not saying there are no ethical issues in what has happened. I'm saying if you read the law closely and industry practices as are existing, even given they may be bad, is that there's no legal breach and there's no case I see at this point.
Okay, there's no case that you see at this point. Okay, you want to make a quick point, Nikhil?
So the one thing you need to keep in mind is that the terms and conditions are superseded by the law of the land, and India today doesn't have a privacy law.
Right.
It's still in a draft it's in a draft stage, and this once again makes the case.
This perhaps will set the tongues wagging whether you really need a privacy law in place as early as possible. Yeah. But on that point of privacy, maybe Meenakshi, you can take this one. For the longest time, we've seen that the study of consumer behavior has been pretty much a part of advertising management in our country, in fact, across the world. What is the difference in terms of what we're seeing in Facebook, where Facebook is attempting to influence the way an individual thinks, and what advertising or marketing agencies have been doing for a while?
I think the fundamental difference is that research is meant to be observation. In this case, they are manipulating emotions. Essentially what has happened is, by reducing negative words, you've been able to increase positive emotions, and by reducing positive words, you've been able to increase negative emotions. So human beings have been used as guinea pigs.
Right.
Now the problem is that there is no legal right to recourse that anybody can take. Because once you sign off those terms of agreement, you're virtually at their mercy.
Okay, so
so it's not a legal issue, but it's definitely an ethical issue.
It's definitely an ethical issue. Alok Kejriwal, isn't there a danger there? You know, because I was talking to some psychologists who told me that if Facebook ends up being the instrument which will determine whether I feel good or I feel bad, it can also lead to hugely destabilizing impact on my mind itself, on the minds of consumers. Would you buy that? Would you say that maybe in this particular case, Facebook seems to have crossed the thin red line, which is being described there by Meenakshi as a case of a breach of faith, of breach of trust?
You know, I'll be honest, we made this all look like Facebook is going to turn us into some psychotic patients at its mercy, and they're injecting this lethal drugs into us by their Facebook posts. I mean, come on. When was the last time anything made you really happy or sad beyond your natural state? Let's be honest, right? It's the business of business to understand its customers better and make them happy. And the purpose of this is to say, hey, if better news surfaces on the Facebook feed, you get more engaged. Right. That's what media does. I mean, who wants to read newspapers with ghastly news? I got pitched by an entrepreneur a business plan which said, my name is good media. I don't want to show any bad media. So when we have newspapers laced with negative stuff, we cry out foul and say, hey, you know, the world's becoming dirty and horrible. And when someone is trying to make an attempt at saying, look, let me understand the relationship between how you react and what you read, you know, we're becoming, you know, rats in a laboratory saying, oh my God, we've become paralyzed. I mean, if we were so easily manipulable, then we wouldn't be having this argument, because Facebook should have then brainwashed us.
You know, but Alok, may I say this? I think you also
Alok, I think you're, I think Alok is completely wrong in this.
How can you think of Facebook sitting, it's a platform, guys.
No, yeah, but it's a platform that's controlling so much of our lives today.
Then don't get on it. If you feel that you're so vulnerable, if you're so weak, if you're so mentally incapacitated, don't be on it. If someone can just show you one feed less and make you behave like a retard, then, you know, good luck to you.
That is a fair comment?
That is not I don't think that's fair for a simple reason. I don't think.
But I do see some merit in what Alok is saying.
If you don't want to be on something, you're not on it.
Ultimately, if I have a problem, if I cannot control these completely variation in moods, which a Facebook or any other platform will be subjecting me to, why am I on that platform then?
True. But there are 100 million users on Facebook right now in India alone. you traveled during the elections. I mean, I was in Eastern UP. I saw
It cuts across classes.
It cuts across
There's no
classes.
urban
It
rural
cuts
divide
across
there.
everywhere. So
Absolutely.
Facebook will hit 200 million in another couple of years, so sure. People are on Facebook because their friends are on Facebook. Everybody they know is on Facebook.
So there is a certain amount of peer pressure. You want to be on Facebook because the guy next door is on
and
Facebook.
if you're not on Facebook, you're on WhatsApp, which incidentally is owned by Facebook.
Right.
So,
but you know, Alok, just to slightly disagree with what you're saying, you say that, you know, I mean, ultimately, it's not as if that Facebook is trying to inject something lethal in our minds. I take that point. But look at some of the studies which have been done. There's a company called Reptel, which happens to be a mobile voice over IP company. It's similar to Skype. Now, there was a survey which was conducted by this company, and that survey tried to figure out precisely this, whether social networking sites can affect our moods. And look at the conclusion of this survey. It said most participants said no networks cause them stress or have a negative effect on their mood. But when it came to the question of Facebook, Facebook came in as the top site for consumers as a site which was impacting their emotions. Now, you can't take away from the fact that Facebook or Google or Twitter is a platform which does influence our minds. The only question is, how is this manipulation happening?
No, so there's a confusion, right? Obviously, Facebook impacts you. That's why the world is on Facebook, and that's why Facebook is such a valuable company.
But is that a natural fact? Is that a natural process or not? Is that a natural process or not? That's the point.
It is a natural process because, let's go to the root of it all. Who is influencing you? It's not some random person that's on the street, they are your friends. So if you read what your friends say, maybe you read one post of your friend less. I mean, I challenge anybody who anyway says, I read everything of everybody. It's impossible. So if you read one post less, if you read one post more, and these are friends, by the way, every average Facebook user has 332 friends or so. Then how can your friends change overnight? How can you change overnight?
No, but I think this is the fundamental issue here, Alok.
Did these guys brainwash you?
These guys changed what your friends were saying to you.
No, they didn't change.
Yes, they did. They dropped negative words.
No.
They dropped negative words so that you were not able to see what your friends said to you.
They showed
They filtered posts. They filtered posts. They filtered words.
So listen,
so that's control. I mean, we are today fighting about freedom. We are saying that, you know, people need to know.
If you read Adam Kramer's methodology, it's very clear. There was a percentage of posts that were filtered across a percentage of users. If tomorrow my feed did not show anything negative, that is complete blockout. What they did was they used certain very minimalistic algorithms to say, if I alter the negative posts, and look, this is a fact, guys. In an app company, let me tell you what happens, and this is a real, learning. If we see 3 people on an app commenting bad, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, the entire universe begins to comment 1 star, and that's negative because the app is not bad.
You know, but
it's
the bizarre
herd
point.
mentality.
But the bizarre, you call it herd mentality, but you know, Nikhil, the bizarre point is that most people who I spoke to, and as Kushant says, everyone is on Facebook these days. Most people I spoke to, and when I asked them that, listen, if you're feeling depressed, if you see status updates on your site of people who are feeling happy, will that make you feel happy or will that make you feel more depressed? And many of them said that if my friends are happy, then I'm entitled to feel happy. Well, I may like to be a part of their happiness. But this research throws up something contrary, that if you're in a depressed state of mind and if you see the world which is feeling happy, and that's where I think manipulation comes in that Meenakshi ji talks about, that would you say that is where Facebook seems to have crossed the thin red line? I mean, why try and change the basic character of a feed?
No, so the basic character of the feed is
I think
already
you should
being
observe,
changed. The basic point is, who controls what you see on Facebook? Are you controlling it or is Facebook controlling it?
I like to believe that I'm controlling it.
But you're not.
But I'm not controlling
it. No, because Facebook is already personalizing it according to your behavior patterns. So you're not in control of your Facebook feed.
So therefore, Meenakshi, that's the point. You know, that's the point that I was making. That in a marketing company, when say a big brand tries to indulge in what is often described as subconscious advertising or subconscious marketing, isn't Facebook doing precisely that? They're trying to play with our subconscious mind.
You see, what happens is messages are believable when you know they are not tampered with. Okay, if it's your friend who says that, you know, he likes something or he or she saw something they want to share with you, if it's not a tampered message, you believe them. But what's going to happen is this is actually going to boomerang back on Facebook, because everybody who's now going to look at their feeds is going to, not everybody, fortunately for Facebook, there's a small percentage who will actually start getting skeptical about the Facebook feed. I have a fundamental problem with what has happened, and my problem is, yes, I have signed terms and conditions, but there is something called informed consent. And whether it is 700,000 or 70,000, people who are part of this experiment should have been asked for their approval. And it's a very, very small step from, this is like saying, okay, if the cop stops you when you run through a red light, give him $10, and that kind of corruption is okay. But, an arms deal is not okay. I mean, where do you draw the line?
This debate is reminding me of the film Inception, Kushan. It reminds me of Inception.
Arms
I don't
deals,
know.
cops, robbers, drugs, guinea pigs.
But how do we
I don't know what we brought the whole animals. We brought the zoo out here,
but Alo, how do we know? How do we know that, maybe tomorrow that's the kind of problem that we may be confronted with? But Kushan, is this a case of rewiring of our brains?
We get rewired.
Is that what is being attempted by Facebook?
Listen, you want to get rewired, if you want to see pictures of cute kittens on the internet, which is, I can has cheeseburger or something like that, that's what they'll show you.
You might actually start liking
guys,
but yeah, you can start liking kittens. But for example, let's look at it this way. Your friend has a baby and that post goes up. Now obviously that post will have lots and lots of likes.
Right.
But that's what Facebook might show you. They might not show you.
So where does the manipulation come in?
Manipulation might come in maybe if there's a death announced on Facebook.
That you didn't have a baby?
No, death is announced.
They'll fake the
Somebody
fact that you had a
announces-
baby?
Somebody announces their parent has died. Now
Right.
that's a sad thing, right? Now Facebook may choose not to show you that.
Right.
No, not to show you that death announcement on Facebook. They'll just show you the birth announcement. Now birth announcements are always happy things.
So therefore, Akar, let me put it this way to you. I mean, if in case Akar, a consumer or a Facebook user decides to go to court today and says that I believe that in light of what has happened, I believe that there has been a breach of faith. What are the kind of legal remedies that individual can hope for?
Okay, you called me Akar.
Sorry,
you called me
Apar,
from next time onwards.
Apar, yeah.
Okay.
Don't take me to court
Okay.
for that.
Okay. I'm planning to, but let's get for the Facebook users first.
Right.
So, actually under the Information Technology Act, we have section 43A, which does penalize companies if they're negligent in disclosing data. There are some rules made under it, and users can ask for compensation. There's a special mechanism in which users file complaints before adjudicating officers. However, from my experience, I've not seen that process working out. Adjudicating officers are essentially state-level information technology secretaries, and the adjudication process just does not work.
Right.
Going back to Nikhil's point, I think so this underscores the need for a robust, comprehensive privacy law in India, and just not it should be in terms of a very heavy regulation on companies. It should also permit them to make best industry practices, self-regulate, have more predictable outcomes when laws are breached. And I think so Facebook by itself, if we are looking at it, let's also appreciate that it's a platform which is giving us a service for free. It's just that it's not informing us at this point of time what it's doing with our data when it's subsidizing the access itself. So if that is more transparent, if it's informed to users in a better way, then users can take a more informed choice whether to opt in or opt out. So, just going back to the point which Nikhil made, a better comprehensive law which takes care of these outcomes in a much more predictable fashion is what's needed right now.
But Alok, you believe this is much ado about nothing. You believe that all of us are jumping over something which is just completely unnecessary.
Guys, we're using the typical Indian argumentative mentality to bash up everything that we love. I mean, let me ask all these people how many days can they live without Facebook, and let Facebook ban them for 1 week and see. Then we come back to the studio and say, oh my God, how did Facebook take us away from the
that's a serious question,
So,
because listen, all our viewers may be thinking today. All our viewers may be thinking today. Next time when they go on Facebook, what they are witnessing, is that real? Is that fictitious? Is that manipulated? One doesn't know.
Look, guys, this is there is no. I think the methodology. Let me complete my point.
Yeah,
the
sure.
methodology is very clear. This was never done as a sustained, permanent constant effort. It was a small experiment done to understand cues and use. Look, this is what happens in the real world. H&M plays fast, tap zapping music to make you buy more clothes. If they played dirges and they played Mozart's Requiem, would you be buying more clothes? Now, shall we sue H&M for playing that kind of music to make us get into the mood to buy clothes?
Is that a fair comparison?
If you step in an elevator,
is that a fair comparison?
if you stay in an elevator and you hear Kenny G, should we be playing some death music and make you feel like going down the elevator?
Okay,
so you won't go up, you'll go down. I mean, guys, what are you saying?
So Alok's point is that we don't need to take this seriously at all.
Alok
You
has
believe
made an
it's serious?
excellent point. If you're happy, you're likely to buy more. Maybe you will click on an ad. So
That's
this
the only thing which confuses me about this Facebook research. That if I'm happy,
so now Facebook is.
If I'm looking at a negative comment, why should that make me feel
But if you're happy,
So now Facebook is going to go into the Flipkart business and capture their market and make us buy stuff on them.
No, I
Like,
think
come on, man.
I don't think that's the point. I don't think anyone is suggesting that. Kushan.
No, I'll click.
Oh
I mean, if
my
I use the Facebook app on my iPhone, the ads straight below the top post. And that's the thing. But people, as you said, can move on. And when I was sitting with Nikhil outside just now, we just discovered Orkut is shutting down in September 30th. So, I mean, people can move on, and that is proof that
And that's something that Facebook should be aware of.
That's
so
something
contrary
that
to what
Facebook
Alok says, that all of us, so how can we live without Facebook? Well, Alok, certainly I can live without Facebook for a week. And if I am convinced that Facebook is trying to influence my worldview, then who knows? Do I want to come back on Facebook or not? But that has to be my choice.
Can I make?
Okay, quickly.
Can I make one small comment?
Yes, sure.
Just quickly.
Sure.
If you just look at the Google model, right? I just looked at Google, $400 billion market cap. What is Google? Google places ads right next to the things you search for.
Right.
That's contextual. So I think all of us in this room have just forgotten the concept of contextual. Emotional manipulation happens when you make me do things that I didn't want to do.
No, but that's exactly what I was trying to ask. I was trying to exactly ask Meenakshi at the beginning.
If I don't see one piece of news on a newspaper, I don't become uninformed.
In this case, this is not contextual.
Yeah. That's the whole problem. That's the whole problem.
Way beyond that.
Then we took Facebook for something that it was not supposed to be.
We know that Alok can't live without Facebook.
Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe that's the reason why Alok is asking us that question.
Absolutely.
Well, Alok, maybe you can't.
I can't live without Facebook.
Maybe some of us can, some of us can't.
But we can.
Thank you. All right, we can.
Meenakshi, next time I won't see you there.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for joining me. The only thing that I can say in conclusion is just this, that Facebook CEO happens to be in the country. And hopefully she'll be seeing this program. So hopefully she realizes that this question of manipulation, Indians don't like their thoughts to be played around with. And if India gets convinced that their thoughts are being played around with on Facebook, well, you never know then. You never know what could happen to Facebook then as far as its users are concerned.